never have friends again. We'll never have friends again. Too disappointed with things that were done. Too much to know that I will never have friends again. Too much regret from the things that I've said. Too much to know that I will never have friends again. But I have you. I have you. I have you. I have you. And you have me. Yeah. But I have you. I have you. I have you. I have you. And you have me. Yeah, you have me. Too much division and too much divide. Too much to know that I can never go home again. Too disappointed with things that were done. Too much to know that I will never have friends again. I can never go home again.
April 8th, 2016, Live and Large Larry Live, liveandlargelarry.com from Redline Computer Studios in West Billings, Montana. Welcome to the Friday show here from Billings, Montana, worldwide, streaming online at liveandlargelarry.com on YouTube, the TuneIn smartphone app. Keystone Mortgage has moved to a much larger location. Keystone Mortgage is our underwriter for our replay of the show, our podcast. Keystone Mortgage, purchase, refinance, investment properties, second home, anything dealing with mortgages. You aren't just a number, you're our number one priority. And that slogan fits. Keystone Mortgage Company, Keystone Mortgage, KeystoneHomeLoans.com. They are locally owned and operated, and you can search them out on Facebook. Just type in the keyword, the Keystone. And all kinds of blinds and billings, all kinds of blindsmt.com, and starting off at 39 degrees and a good-looking Billings, Montana day. Complete forecast on the way for you, as well as the Billings Morning News at liveandlargelarry.com.
Hey, you want a piece of the action? Billings Kiwanis is throwing a little soiree called the Bootleggers Ball, April 23rd at the Bighorn Resort. Come dressed in swanky 1920s attire, enjoy a little Italian cuisine, and cut a rug on the dance floor to the 2nd Street Stompers. Lay down some bones in the casino for your chance at a trip to South Africa. Proceeds benefit Landon's Legacy, Billings' first special needs baseball park. Space is limited, so go to billingskiwanis.org to reserve your tickets now.
If you have not tried cryotherapy, then here in Billings you can now, since last July. Cindy Graff and her staff at N2 Cryotherapy, 805 24th Street West, suite number 4. If you're an athlete or if you just work out, if you're elderly and have the aches and pains, try cryotherapy. If you log on to the website, you'll learn a lot about what cryotherapy is all about and how it can help you as well. N2 Cryotherapy in Billings, N2cryo.com.
Livin' Large Larry live from the Redline Computer Studios next to the Dollar Tree off of King Avenue West in Billings, Montana. This is Livin' Large Larry live.
We will take a look and see what's going on around town. Coming up in a few minutes here, what's going on segment from Bighorn Inspection, bighorninspection.com. And the Billings Morning News on the way too. Complete forecast is second here. LivinLargeLarry.com from the Redline Computer Studios. Not a lot of wind, not a lot of moisture in our Billings area forecast. Forecast on the show from Top Sandwich Company in Billings across from Shopco. Enjoy their happy hour weekdays 5 to 8 p.m. All sandwiches, $5. Roast beef, turkey, ham. Ask about their pork sandwich menu. Coming to Top's Sandwich Company across from Shopco, and chips with every order. Well, it should be nice and sunny, about 74 for this afternoon, and not a bad weekend. Close to 80 in and around Billings for Saturday, and it cools off to about 60 or so for Sunday. Even glancing ahead to most of next week. apologize for that. System reboot. Please stand by. Thank you. LivinLargeLarry.com. All right, away we go again. LivinLargeLarry.com, 8th of April. And all kinds of blinds and buildings, all kinds of blinds. MT.com, our quickie temperature check, not quite 40. It will get up to around 70. We'll run that forecast again for you in its entirety. As well as the Billings Morning News on the way. We're on YouTube and the TuneIn smartphone app, all accessed through our website, LivinLargeLarry.com. No G on Livin when you log on.
Livin Large Larry Live from the Redline Computer Studios next to the Dollar Tree off of King Avenue West in Billings, Montana. This is Livin Large Larry Live.
All kinds of blinds locally here in Billings. All kinds of blinds, MT.com for mini blinds or the Roman shades if you want to see a variety of vertical blinds that will fit in your home or your business. Then Bobby Gray and All Kinds of Blinds is the answer. All Kinds of Blinds, MT.com. Check out the Starbucks in the Heights, Starbucks on Grand for the work that Bobby Gray has done with All Kinds of Blinds at their locations. A couple of Taco Treat locations on Grand and Heights as well. Fred's Appliance is one of the most recent jobs done by Bobby Gray. And All Kinds of Blinds in Billings. All Kinds of Blinds, MT.com. Search out the new football league in Billings. Remember the Laurel Loco Express from the RMFL league last year, the year before? Now moved to Billings, renamed or rebranded the Billings Extreme with Ken Blankenship, and he has a season lined up, and they'll play home games at Dela Stadium, a great family fun-filled events. Check out the new Extreme Football Extreme, the Billings Extreme XTREME. You can search them out on Facebook.
Call or email your Livin Large Larry Live show ideas. Larry at livinlargelarry.com and 1-888-858-1408.
Not a lot of wind, not a lot of moisture in our Billings area forecast. Forecast on the show from Top Sandwich Company in Billings across from Shopco. Enjoy their happy hour weekdays 5 to 8 p.m. All sandwiches, $5. Roast beef, turkey, ham. Ask about their pork sandwich menu. Coming to Top's Sandwich Company across from Shopco, and chips with every order. Well, it should be nice and sunny, about 74 for this afternoon, and not a bad weekend. Close to 80 in and around Billings for Saturday, and it cools off to about 60 or so for Sunday. Even glancing ahead to most of next week, 65 to 70 for highs in and around Billings, Montana. Get a 5-day look at the forecast, expanded look at livinlargelarry.com. Click on the weather button there at the home page. Meantime, on the show, the forecast from Tops Sandwich Company in Billings, off of King Avenue West, across from Shopco. Tops Sandwich Company, no franchising. They have a happy hour every Monday through Friday, 5 to 8 p.m., where sandwiches are only $5, and that includes chips, delivery, even one sandwich with Tops Sandwich Company, across from Shopco in Billings.
The man with the most energy in radio commercials ever, it's Jay Johansson, the Athlete's Foot, 3839 Grand Avenue. Wow, that was a breathful for me, sir.
655-3668, Larry. I tell you what, Larry.
Yeah.
I'm here to lay it out. Truth is the truth, and I got to come clean with everything.
All right.
You've heard me on the radio.
Yeah.
Doing my thing for 4 or 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
The Athlete's Foot, 3839 Grand Avenue, 655-3668. That's my phone number.
Yeah.
Larry?
Yes, sir.
We're number one.
I know, you're number one.
We're number one. We're not number two. We're the number one shoe store in Billings. If you want great customer service, if you want someone that's going to care how your feet feel, not next month, but in 3 months, you need to come to 3839 Grand Avenue, the Athlete's Foot, for top quality customer service. Larry, you know what we're going to actually do?
What's that?
You know what we're going to actually do?
Yeah, Jay,
I'm going to measure your foot. Yeah, I'm going to do something really crazy.
All right, yeah,
And
crazy.
I'm not going to ask somebody their shoe size. I'm going to measure their feet. And then we're going to use the footprint technology. We're going to take the human element completely out of it, see what kind of foot you got, and put the exact kind of shoes on your feet that you need. And then not only that, Livin Large, Larry, the best on the radio, we also got the Jordans. And I'm not talking the black and white Jordans that every shoe shop's got. I'm talking about the Jordans that everyone's waiting to get. In my store, right now, in my case, are the French Blue 12s that don't release until next week, and I got 72 pairs of them.
My notes say you're the Jordan expert.
I had to come clean.
The Athlete's Foot Billings on Facebook.
The Athlete's Foot Billings MT. Check us out. Peace.
3839 Grand Avenue, Billings. The Athlete's Foot.
LivinLargeLarry.com from the Redline Computer Studios, West Billings, Montana, World Wide Web, having some streaming problems. An automatic reboots has taken place. We should be good to go here the 8th of April 2016. How are things? Well, it's Friday. Can't be all bad. Nice to have you with us. All kinds of blinds and Billings. Quickie temperature check, not quite 40. It will zoom past the 40s and into around 70 today. And in Billings for Saturday, should be around 80, which actually is like 10 degrees warmer than it's supposed to be this time of year. It does cool off on Sunday. Complete forecast. We'll review that on the way in just a little bit. Also, the Billings Morning News coming up too. LivinLargeLarry.com. You can access YouTube at the website, as well as the TuneIn smartphone app on your smartphone. It's free download for you, as well as just an audio player, all accessible at the website LivinLargeLarry.com. From the Redline Computer Studios, across from Goodwill and West Billings, Montana, worldwide audience. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. End of the week, into the weekend.
Couponing is back, and how would you like to look at a coupon magazine that's larger than the palm of your hands? Real sized Hometown Values coupon magazine. There's one built and issue out for your area in and around Billings and Laurel. Hometown Values, shop the original. Inside, practical couponing. Hometown Values, and log on to myhometownvalues.com. Check out the new Heights issue of Hometown Values.
Time for a haircut? Try Jim and Austin's Barbershop, 2225 Main in the Heights, if you want truly trained. I mean, these guys are trained barbers for straight razor shaves, or if you just want just a haircut. $10 for a basic haircut. Jim and Austin's Barbershop, 2225 Main in the Heights. The best $10 haircut ever, and they don't take up a lot of time either. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, $10. Great haircut. Jim and Austin's Barbershop, 2225 Main in Billings Heights, and proud sponsors and supporters of the 2016 Billings Wolves. It's Jim and Austin's Barbershop.
Join us at 1-888-858-1408.
What is going on around Billings, Montana? The What's Going On segment is underwritten by Bighorn Inspection, Petrochemical, and Refinery Inspection. It is Bighorn Inspection. Log on and check them out and show them some love. They always sponsor community-type events. BighornInspection.com. A reminder to team captains for the 2016 Yellowstone County Relay for Life. You have a series of team meetings coming up, and they are April 21st, May 19th, and also June 16th. They'll be held at the Mansfeld Center, the basement of the Yellowstone Medical Center, downtown Billings, 2900 12th Avenue North. In your next 2016 team captain Relay for Life team meetings, April 21st. Also, Healthy Kids Day at the YMCA downtown Billings coming up. The end of the month here, April 30th. Saturday, April 30th. It's Healthy Kids Day at the Y from 11 to 2. Billings Family YMCA. The Billings Wolves will be on hand. The IFL will be signing autographs and pictures. There's no joiner's fees for that day. That's some incentive for you to take the family on down to the Y. Again, that's April 30th, Healthy Kids Day, and some other incentives as well. And it's free, too. There's no admission for that event. Billings Public Schools, new boundaries and grandfathering rules for K through 12th grade students. The next meeting coming up is April 13th. There's been 2 or 3 of those this past week, but the next one coming up for the new boundaries and grandfathering rules, April 13th, downtown Billings at the Lincoln Center. Quality of Life Casino Night is going to happen Tuesday, April 26th at the Highlands Golf Club. They normally do a Quality of Life run, but this is either an addition or a replacement for the event. Quality of Life Casino Night sounds fun. Highlands Golf Club, 5 to 9 p.m., Tuesday, April 26th in Billings. And let's see, $5 to attend. And you can register online at qualityofliferun.com, or you can pay at the door as well at Highlands. So qualityofliferun.com for more details on that. And Teresa Caputo from TLC's hit show, Long Island Medium, she'll be appearing on Saturday, this coming Saturday, at Rimrock Auto Arena. And tickets still remain for that. You can get those today during business hours, as well as on Saturday morning at the Metro Park box office for Teresa Caputo. Don't forget about the annual Walk MS. That is going to happen at St. John's Pavilion April 30th, 10 a.m. And the event happens, rain or shine. I'm happy to be the master of ceremonies again at that event. It's coming up, Walk MS at St. John's Pavilion off of Shiloh in West Billings, Montana on April 30th. Coming up in a couple of weeks. That is pretty much what's going on around town, courtesy of Bighorn Inspection, bighorninspection.com. All kinds of blinds in Billings, all kinds of blindsmt.com, looking at 39 degrees at present.
Livin' Large Larry live from the Redline Computer Studios next to the Dollar Tree off of King Avenue West in Billings, Montana. This is Livin' Large Larry live.
All right, we'll gather up my news and forward it to you in the form of the Billings Morning News coming up from the Redline Computer Studios, West Billings, here on the World Wide Web at livinlargelarry.com. That's next.
Hey, you want a piece of the action? Billings Kiwanis is throwing a little soiree called the Bootleggers Ball, April 23rd at the Bighorn Resort. Come dressed in swanky 1920s attire, enjoy a little Italian cuisine, and cut a rug on the dance floor to the 2nd Street Stompers. Lay down some bones in the casino for your chance at a trip to South Africa. Proceeds benefit Landon's Legacy, Billings' first special needs baseball park. Space is limited, so go to billingskiwanis.org to reserve your tickets now.
Search out the new football league in Billings. Remember the Laurel Loco Express from the RMFL League last year, the year before? Now moved to Billings, renamed or rebranded the Billings Extreme with Ken Blankenship, and he has a season lined up, and they'll play home games at Dela Stadium, a great family, fun-filled events. Check out the new Extreme Football Extreme, the Billings Extreme XTREME. You can search them out on Facebook. Cindy Graff and her crew at N2 Cryotherapy, 805 24th Street West, suite number 4, is excited about the evolution and the growth of N2 Cryotherapy. They've been in Billings, N2 Cryotherapy, since last July, and business is growing.
And as of right now, she's targeting athletes, as in high school athletes or college or professional, for the wellness therapy out called cryotherapy. You can learn a little bit more about cryotherapy at n2cryo.com. N2 Cryotherapy, the only one in this region. N2 Cryotherapy, 805 24th Street West, suite number 4. We'll have a replay, if you will, with Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors coming up. Get some spring, summer tips of the trade on buying and selling homes in and around Billings, Montana. That's coming up. And any replay we do on the show, livinlargelarry.com, courtesy of Keystone Mortgage, downtown Billings, across from the pub station. That's their new location. If you have not seen their new store, then head down across from the pub station, downtown Billings, and check it out. They've tripled the size. That's on the way for you. livinlargelarry.com on YouTube and the TuneIn smartphone app this morning.
And the Billings Morning News brought to you by the Billings Extreme Outdoor Football Team. They're new this year, spring and summer play, and their home field is Dallas Wendy's Field. The Billings Extreme losing cause last weekend, bye week this weekend. Check them out, billingsextreme.com, XTREME. Tuesday evening, Billings police spotted a white Chevrolet Malibu moving west from Lockwood on 3 tires heading downtown of Billings and pursued it with speeds hovering between 15 and 26 miles per hour. A low-speed chase. A spike strip was deployed. The Montana Highway Patrol is still investigating. Montana is one of only 2 states that does not pay for students with disabilities to pursue their high school diploma past 18 years of age, effectively capping the graduation age in most districts. Tuesday, advocates for people with disabilities pushed for a change at a meeting of the School Funding Interim Committee, a group of 16 legislators and educators who can make policy recommendations to the next legislature. Governor Steve Bullock has ordered all flags flown in Montana be flown at half-staff to honor the memory of Joseph Medicine Crow after a highly accomplished and his historic life. He passed away last Sunday at the age of 102. About 500 attended his funeral earlier in the week. According to the Centers for Disease Control, senior citizens are especially vulnerable to the flu. It's estimated between 80 and 90% of flu-related deaths have happened to people 65 and over, and between 50 and 70% of flu-related hospitalizations happen in that same age group. In Billings, Big Sky Senior Services has to get all their caretakers the flu vaccine every year to protect both their seniors and the staff. At Shepherd Middle School, the Art Club is working on a project with the school's library to take old books and make them into new usable items, including birdhouses, sculptures, music boxes, and even iPad cases. Teacher Bailey Riley hopes her students will get a new perspective about the things around them that might go normally into the trash. The last named defendant in the armed occupation of an Oregon wildlife refuge was arrested by the FBI. Jake Ryan of Montana faces charges of depredation of government property, conspiracy to impede officers, and possession of weapons in a federal facility. The Carbon County town of Red Lodge. Chief of Police stepping down from his position amid tension between the city and the county. Report says that Red Lodge Mayor Ed Williams announced Wednesday that Police Chief Steve Hibbler had reached a mutual agreement with the city to end his employment. That'll happen on June 30th. Montana officials seeking to capitalize on North Carolina's loss announced Wednesday that they would court PayPal to open an operations center. In the letter, Governor Steve Bullock and U.S. Senator John Tester commended the online payment company for its decision to drop plans to invest $3.6 million in a center in North Carolina because a new state law restricts protections for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. So PayPal may be based out of Montana. Glacier National Park's Going to the Sun Road is open to hikers and bikers. As far as the popular Avalanche Creek trailhead, plows have reached the Red Rocks area. It's about 17 miles up the road from the west entrance to Glacier National Park. And they're making some progress. In sports, Colorado rookie shortstop Trevor Story has made baseball history by hitting a home run in each of his first 3 major league games, and the Colorado Rockies beat Arizona 4-3. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, Story also is the first player in baseball history to hit a home run for each of his first 4 hits. Robinson Cano is off to a terrific start to the 2016 baseball season. The Seattle second baseman homered twice to give him a major league leading 4 home runs as he went deep in a 5-run ninth inning that carried the Mariners past the Texas Rangers 9-5. Arnold Palmer was on the first tee for Thursday's ceremonial opening shot of the Masters. He didn't swing a club, though. The 86-year-old Palmer said his health wasn't good enough to join Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player when they hit tee shots at the first hole to open the first major of the year, but Arnold Palmer was there for the ceremony. A glance at the Billings Morning News at livinlargelarry.com. Brought to you by the Billings Extreme Outdoor Football. Back in Billings, Dallas Wendy's Field, their home turf, off this weekend. A losing cause first out of the gate last weekend for the Billings Extreme. BillingsExtreme.com, XTREME.
And a complete forecast for Billings coming up as we're just on the verge of a weekend here. It's Friday, the 8th of April, 2016. LivinLargeLarry.com. From the Redline Computer Studios, we're across the street from Goodwill, King and 29th West in Billings. All kinds of blinds in Billings, all kinds of blindsmt.com. 39 now. If you're interested in learning the current value of your home, then call Amber Gustanis with Century 21 Hometown Brokers for a free market analysis. 406-690-5902. Amber Gustanis, and her service area includes not just Billings, but Lockwood, Laurel, Joliet, Roberts, Red Lodge, Columbus, and more. Amber Gustanis with Century 21 Hometown Brokers, 406-690-5902. Couponing is back, and how would you like to look at a coupon magazine that's larger than the palm of your hands? Real sized Hometown Values coupon magazine. There's one built and issue out for your area in and around Billings and Laurel. Hometown Values, shop the original. Inside, practical couponing. Hometown Values, and log on to myhometownvalues.com. Check out the new Heights issue of Hometown Values.
Livin' Large Larry live from the Redline Computer Studios next to the Dollar Tree off of King Avenue West in Billings, Montana. This is Livin' Large Larry live.
Access at livinlargelarry.com. No G on Livin when you log on for our YouTube show, which, by the way, after the live YouTube show each day, then it becomes the podcast. We also have a looping play of the show that you can check out. It's an audio player. And our TuneIn smartphone app, all access through livinlargelarry.com. Not a lot of wind, not a lot of moisture in our Billings area forecast. Forecast on the show from Top Sandwich Company in Billings across from Shopco. Enjoy their happy hour weekdays, 5 to 8 p.m. All sandwiches, $5. Roast beef, turkey, ham. Ask about their pork sandwich menu. Coming to Top's Sandwich Company across from Shopco, and chips with every order. Well, it should be nice and sunny, about 74 for this afternoon, and not a bad weekend. Close to 80 in and around Billings for Saturday, and it cools off to about 60 or so for Sunday. Even glancing ahead to most of next week, 65 to 70 for highs in and around Billings, Montana. Get a 5-day look at the forecast, expanded look at livinlargelarry.com. Click on the weather button there at the home page. Meantime, on the show, the forecast from Top's Sandwich Company in Billings, off of King Avenue West, across from Shopco. Top Sandwich Company, no franchising. They have a happy hour every Monday through Friday, 5 to 8 p.m., where sandwiches are only $5, and that includes chips, delivery, even one sandwich with Top's Sandwich Company, across from Shopco in Billings. Coming up before the end of the show today, we'll talk with Tamalee St. James from Riverstone Health about H1N1, or more commonly known as swine flu. We had a death of a little third grader here in Billings this past week from Poly Drive Elementary, and the discussion on swine flu is back. That's coming up before the end of the show today at livinlargelarry.com. Broadcasting from the Redline Computer Studios, West Billings, Montana. Welcome to it, worldwide.
Jay Johansson with us, the Athlete's Foot, 3839 Grand Avenue in Billings. The Athlete's Foot, Jay.
Livin' Large Larry, the best on the radio. We also got the Jordans. And I'm not talking the black and white Jordans that every shoe shop's got. I'm talking about the Jordans that everyone's waiting to get. In my store, right now, in my case, are the French Blue 12s. that don't release until next week, and I got 72 pairs of them.
My notes say you're the Jordan expert.
I had to come clean.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I was announcing the Billings Wolves on field the other night, and two young adults says, "Hey, cool Jordans. Where can I go to get those?" I said, "Jay, the athlete's foot in Billings is the Jordan King."
Oh, yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. I was just telling another one of your friends that not only we're a hip store that services the community. You got that?
Yeah.
We're a hip, family-owned shoe store that if you just need great shoes, come see us. If you need the best shoes, come see us. If you need the shoes no one else has, and I'm talking no one Livin Large, Larry, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm talking no one in Billings. I'm talking no one in Denver. No one in Minneapolis. No one in Seattle. We got it because my big brother, my owner, Intersport, check them out, largest sporting good company store in the world. They just happen to be out of Europe. Believe it or not, this planet is big. Check them out, Intersport. They got us the account. We're number one.
I wear the books. I wear the Jordan. My family shops the Athlete's Foot, 3839 Grand Avenue. Jay, thank you very much, sir.
Hey, Livin Large, Larry, keep it up. Go Billings Wolves. Love it that we got that football back in town. You need great shoes, you know where to come. 3839 Grand Avenue, the Athlete's Foot.
And the Athlete's Foot on Facebook, too. Don't forget about Facebook, the Athlete's Foot on Facebook.
The Athlete's Foot, Billings MT. Check us out. Peace.
Keystone Mortgage has moved to a much larger location. Keystone Mortgage is our underwriter for our replay of the show, our podcast. Keystone Mortgage, purchase, refinance, investment properties, second home, anything dealing with mortgages. You aren't just a number, you're our number one priority. And that slogan fits. Keystone Mortgage Company, Keystone Mortgage, KeystoneHomeLoans.com. They are locally owned and operated, and you can search them out on Facebook. Just type in the keyword, the Keystone.
Call or email your Livin Large Larry Live show ideas. Larry at livinlargelarry.com and 1-888-858-1408.
All right, Jade Furman is with us from Landmark Realtors, MontanaProperty.com. There's no plural on that, MontanaProperty.com. And good morning, Jade.
Good morning.
How are things?
Good.
Well, it's been a while since I've visited you, but
It's been about a month.
about a month. Yeah, we were talking off the air about restaurants and buildings. Over the last 5 to 7 years, I cannot believe all the commercial buildings that are left vacant, yet all the building of new buildings continues. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that all the buildings are vacant. Does that help or diminish your real estate business in some respects? Do people inquire about it to you?
Not to me. That's commercial property, obviously, and commercial real estate is a completely different
Animal.
animal. I was trying to think of a different
You
word.
can use animal.
It's commercial real estate is a completely different animal than residential, and you have to be a really good commercial realtor. You take a lot of specialized classes and training.
I see.
So it's just a different aspect to the business.
So it's something you would probably recommend to one of your friends in the
I have a
industry.
partner in my office,
Okay.
that's been in the business for over 40 years, and he knows his commercial inside and out.
So what are your opinions of all the vacant older buildings, and is there any hope for them in Billings, Montana? There's a lot of them.
I think there is, and I think it's going to take, some renovations going on, and that's what we're seeing is people updating the older buildings, still being able to offer a better price than the new construction, but still having a great location. There's a new building there's not a new building. There's a building on the corner of 17th and Grand. Used to be Verizon and Pop
Oh yeah, I know what
Murphy's.
you're talking about. Yeah.
And it's been sitting vacant for a number of months, but it's a fantastic location. And it had some kind of a consignment, antique type store in it. And I don't understand why I'm guessing it's probably still vacant just because of how dated I think the building looks. You can't have a super busy business in there because the parking isn't great, but what a high traffic. I mean, 17th and Grand, you just don't get much better traffic than that.
Sure, it is. It's busy. So with regards to real estate and home sales, is it a myth, and you can educate me on this because we purchased a couple homes in our lifetimes, but is it a myth that the longer a home sits for sale, do I get a better deal as a home buyer?
You can. Generally, when I list a house, my goal is to price it right. Might be able to push the envelope a little bit depending on supply and demand. We have a pretty low inventory right now, especially in that 200,000 price range and maybe under. So you can kind of push the envelope a little bit, but the property still has to appraise. But if a property's been on the market for a long time, chances are it started out too high, then it's gotten shop worn, and people are wondering what's wrong with it. And then,
well, you're preaching to the choir. That's my thoughts too.
You know, it's been on the market for 6 months. We're going to go in with a 20,000 low offer because they're probably getting motivated by now. And is it vacant? That's another aspect. Have the people moved on to another city?
Is it move-in ready type?
You know, is it move-in ready? But have the sellers moved out? So maybe they've moved out of town. They're paying rent on an apartment or another house, waiting for this house to sell. So the motivation factor is probably a little bit higher.
In Bend, Oregon, we had that scenario. We had a couple in Bend that got transferred to Bend, Oregon, got transferred to Portland, Oregon, and they had 2 houses now. And we waited it out with our real estate agent, and we waited it out probably for an additional 6 weeks.
Yep.
And we got they accepted kind of our low ball offer, if you will, because of that scenario.
Yep.
2 houses, 2 mortgages. It's expensive.
Yes, it gets expensive, and people, you know. So that myth is right. There's kind of another myth out there that people believe that because a house is a foreclosure, they think they're going to steal it for pennies on the dollar.
That's what I think. That's not true.
No. It depends on the seller, depends on who owns that house at this point, and what they do to the house. Some banks, per se, that have taken property back, they don't turn power on, they don't turn heat on, they don't do any of that. So you might get a little bit better deal on that. But then there's other companies that have heat and power. They might go in and paint and do flooring and fix the house up. And so what they've generally done is a realtor's done a market analysis on the house, and then they've had it appraised. So they know what fair market value on the property is in its as-is condition, and or if it needs to be fixed up. So they have a really good idea of what that property should go for. So if a market analysis on it is 150, the appraisal comes in at 160, they put it on the market at 160, they're going to sell it in that 150 to 160 price range, more likely than not. But there are times when it gets overpriced, people aren't on their numbers, and it takes a long time, and you do get a better deal on it. But just because it's a foreclosure does not mean you're going to steal it from the bank.
See, all these points that you're bringing up, Jade Furman with Landmark Realtors is bringing up, and this is your industry. This is what you do, and this is why I'm not one to save a few bucks by being my own real estate agent, if you will. And I'm not putting down, for sale by owner, because there's some good programs out there if you're guided by a real estate company.
Yes.
Like Landmark Realtors. But I do think that all these points you're sharing with us, again, my industry is radio. Yours is real estate. I wouldn't know the tricks of the trade like you do.
When people sell their house themselves, the experience that I've had is I've known people that have turned into my seller, but they purchased the property as a for sale by owner, and they paid too much for the property. When they went to resell it, they couldn't get what they paid for it just a couple of years later when we were in a good market. So they don't have the guidance of their realtor going, hey, you know what, let me do a market analysis on it. I think it's overpriced. Here's what we need to go in at. So there's that aspect of it on a buyer's side, but on a seller's side, I've had clients that have tried selling it themselves they give it maybe 2 or 3 weeks. They do open houses. People come to their open houses and stay
And move in, bring the
for
sleeping
hours.
bags.
They want to be their friend. They want to constantly come by the house and take another look at it, and there's no separation. And so bringing us in, even if you're trying to sell it yourself, I totally understand that, but be willing to work with a realtor, with a buyer's agent. Let us do the paperwork. Let us keep the separation. Let us help with the negotiation, the inspection stuff, and let us just be involved and make sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and everything's handled in the fashion that it needs to be. This is what I do every day for almost going on 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, this is my career. This is my profession.
You know, I liken it to people in the courtroom that want to represent themselves. But if you look closely, there usually is that person that wants to represent him or herself, but there's always some kind of a professional attorney pretty close by. They're being guided, if you will.
Correct.
So I think it runs along the same line. But let's talk Jade Furman, Landmark Realtors. I do want to get to some of the properties you have listed around the area, actually, that would be a good go look and see.
Just listed a beautiful home up in the Heights on Tabriz. Gorgeous rim edge lot, 6,000 square foot house.
Wow.
For $625,000. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful home.
Nice listing. Way
Top
to go.
of the line, everything. Let's see. Going to be listing a house underneath the rims in Northwest Billings. That's going to be coming up probably towards the end of the week. Let's see what else. I have a house up on Lake Hills on the golf course, brick home. That's a great house. It's dated, built in the 80s, but I'll tell you, when that house was built, it was probably like the house on the block.
It was the mansion on the block.
It was, and just it's great floor plan, open for being an 80s house. It's a nice open floor plan. So
how old is the one on Tabriz?
93.
I always wonder, and I assume it's vacant or not?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Why is it vacant? Why did they move on? Do you
They
know?
built a house, and they've moved into their new house.
Okay.
So they're ready to get it sold. But we just put it on the market last week. I had a professional photographer come in and take pictures. And
What, you didn't do it yourself?
You know, I actually do a pretty good job taking my own pictures. But on a
they're the professionals.
Yes, that's exactly right. So I'm starting more and more to hire the photographer in town, and he does a great job. He handles probably about, I think, 80 realtors in town that do a lot of the professional pictures.
I think photos when you want to sell or buy a house, at least to Carrie and I, it does make a difference.
It really, really does. It really can show the house off a lot better. It can show off the size of a room because they can use a nice wide angle lens, not to make the room look bigger, but just really show the size of the room. So
this being the first part of spring, literally, I mean, just last weekend spring started, and most lawns in and around Billings are kind of dingy looking. And what do you suggest to your clients that want to sell their homes? How do we do a quick fix for curb appeal on the landscaping?
Just having the yard starting to be being taken care of by a landscape company, by a lawn care company that comes in and does your fertilizing, I want to say aeration, power raking,
right.
Just getting the yard cleaned up, getting the flower beds cleaned up, getting all the leaves cleaned up, and with where we're at, we're in that in-between area. So just having it cleaned up and looking good, and that's really the best we can do right now. There's just not a lot.
So me with my big canister of green spray paint spraying my lawn's that's probably not gonna work in the long run.
Not here.
Yeah.
No.
They do that in Vegas, I'm sure.
The house I listed up on Tabriz, they knew they were going to be selling. We weren't quite sure when, but before, when her yard was just beautiful and green, we actually had the exterior pictures taken.
Oh, I see.
So I have gorgeous exterior photos of that house online.
You know, the home we bought in Bend, Oregon, this is many years ago. we drove up, and the lawn was not bad. It was this time of year actually that we started looking at it, and then we went on vacation, and then it became really hot out. When we came back from vacation, once they agreed to the offer or whatever, they stopped maintaining the lawn, didn't water the lawn, and when we moved in, it had pretty much burned. So we had to negotiate a little bit of landscaping before we signed on the dotted line.
Absolutely, and that's part of, making sure when somebody isn't there that
Right.
part of the contract is that the yard is going to be maintained
And it was,
taken care of.
and they just didn't do it. But we
Aha.
won that. But we had representation from a realtor,
That's right.
not myself,
Right.
because otherwise I would have got to the house and gone, well, I guess we need to eat this cost.
Yep.
But we
Yep.
didn't have to. So when you came in this morning to the studio, what did you have on your mind to speak about? Anything in particular?
No, just actually, our inventory is low right now, and we really need, it'd be nice to have some more houses on the market. I was looking for some houses in Northwest Billings yesterday, priced between $225 and $220 and $275, and probably 90% of those houses were new construction out in Copper Ridge. Great new subdivision.
It is nice
But
out there.
as far as existing homes, there was a handful on the market.
So what are we going to do? You're scaring me.
Just need to have some people that are ready to sell their house
Yeah.
and put it on the market, and maybe they want to go buy one of those new houses, and maybe it's time to downsize or upsize.
Yeah,
So
well, we're looking to downsize down the road as well. And I know a lot of our friends are doing what you were talking about the Tabriz property, and that is to sell and then go build on some land they've purchased.
Mhm.
That seems to be some kind of a trend going on.
I'm actually I showed a house on Sunday, and it was actually a for sale by owner with some buyers of mine, and he is selling because he's going to move into an apartment and they're going to build a house.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's exactly what's going on.
Is that good or bad for the real estate industry? Not so much Landmark Realtors, but the industry as a whole.
Not necessarily, because there's new construction going on, so that's a great aspect of it, and there's always, generally, every house is going to sell, unless it's just needs to be condemned. Otherwise, there's a buyer for every house, and a house is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And there's been houses where I do a market analysis and I say, okay, it's worth $225,000, and we put it on the market, maybe $229,900, push that envelope just a little bit, and months go by and we're down to $215.
Yeah.
And
That happens. But
and it happens. So, but getting it out there and having houses on the market, whether it's somebody's, building houses, there's lots of builders out there building houses.
Ironwood, yeah.
Copper Ridge, Falcon Ridge, all that stuff is growing, and that's not a bad thing for our economy in any way, shape, or form, whether it be the real estate business or any other business in town.
And soon to come, the Iron Ridge subdivision. Actually, think about it, Jade. That sounds pretty cool.
So,
The
could be
Iron
out there
Ridge.
between Ironwood and
Yeah.
Copper Ridge or Falcon Ridge, yeah.
So we need to probably Landmark Realtors needs to probably copyright or patent that name. Maybe there's an Iron Ridge subdivision we don't know about, but I kind of like the name now. So that's what happens. Jade Furman with us with Landmark Realtors. Give us your contact details, websites, Facebook, phone numbers.
Jade Furman, Landmark Realtors. Office is located at 1925 Grand Avenue. We're in the one-level building next to the Radio Shack, just west of the Radio Shack. And cell phone is 861-3027. And you can reach me via cell phone or email at jade@Montana, spelled out property, PROPERTY.com.
All right, and just one quick question: the air quotes winter weather we had, has it helped or hampered Landmark Realtors or in the real estate industry in Billings? It was warm.
It was warm, and people are trying to, I think people were kind of hesitant. They weren't sure, okay, do we dare start to make that move because people don't want to move in the winter? Or do we know something's going to happen, so do we hold off?
It is Montana.
So
nothing happened
it's
yet.
really just been, it's still kind of a winter market, even though it's not winter out.
Right.
But we do tend to see a market change in an election year as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good or bad? I mean, up.
People are just sometimes just hanging out and waiting to see what the candidates are going to do, if the president's going to do anything, where interest rates are going to go. So, I mean, it's a great time to buy. Interest rates are fantastic. I mean, in the 3% to the low 4%, you can refi into like a 15-year into probably under 3%. I mean,
but do it now. I mean, don't procrastinate too long.
Because you never know what's going to happen
Sure.
after an election.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we do see changes in our market, and we feel it during an election year.
All right, Jade Furman, Landmark Realtors, MontanaProperty.com. As always, pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jade.
All kinds of blinds and billings, all kinds of blinds, MT.com 39. And our detailed forecast coming up. You can get an expanded look always at livinlargelarry.com. There's a weather button right there at the homepage. Search out the new football league in Billings. Remember the Laurel Loco Express from the RMFL League last year, the year before? Now moved to Billings, renamed, rebranded the Billings Extreme with Ken Blankenship, and he has a season lined up, and they'll play home games at Dela Stadium, a great family fun-filled events. Check out the new Extreme Football Extreme, the Billings Extreme, XTREME. You can search them out on Facebook. As we broadcast each day from the Red Line Computer Studios in West Billings, Montana, we're sandwiched in between the Wave Car Wash off of King and 29th and the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, here in Billings.
Livin' Large Larry live from the Red Line Computer Studios next to the Dollar Tree off of King Avenue West in Billings, Montana. This is Livin' Large Larry live.
Deputy Health Officer for Riverstone Health, Tamalee St. James. And hello, Tamalee. How are things?
Good. How are you?
All right. First of all, talk briefly, kind of refresh our memories of what H1N1 is. Do you guys mind if the layperson calls it swine flu, or is that offensive?
That kind of adds some hype to it, and it makes it a little bit scarier than it probably is. So we prefer not to label it the swine flu.
Okay. H1N1. Let us know what that is again.
Okay, H1N1 is just one of since 2009, it's been a current circulating influenza A that we've had in our community every year since 2009.
And is it right to say that H1N1 has come back, or has it always been around since 2009?
It's always been around. We've had several hundred cases every year since 2009. It kind of showed up for the first time in 2009.
Okay, and just a story out this week about that 9-year-old girl in Billings who died. She attended school at Poly Drive Elementary. And as citizens of Billings and surrounding towns in this county, what should be our concern with regards to H1N1?
H1N1, your concern would be just taking precautions not to get the flu. A lot of times, healthy people get influenza and they make it through, but a lot of times what happens with influenza, such as H1N1 or others as well, there's a secondary complication to the flu. A lot of times a person will have a secondary bacterial infection, and then or a compromised immune system, and that makes them more susceptible to these complications. And a lot of times people who die from influenza have a secondary complication from the influenza. But otherwise, there's some things you can do at home to keep from getting the flu. Cover your cough. Wash your hands frequently, especially when you're out in public. If you're touching surfaces everywhere, and the influenza virus will live on the surface only for a couple hours. So it's important, if you go out shopping or whatever, wash your hands thoroughly and frequently. Stay home if you're ill. Don't go to the workplace and cough and sneeze on people, because that's how the influenza is spread. It's droplet spread, and so if you're coughing and sneezing, you can actually spread it to other people. And then, most importantly, your best prevention against getting influenza is get vaccinated.
And some will say that the vaccinations don't help. I personally get a flu vaccine every year, and so far so good. Probably the last 10 years I've received a flu vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one way to prevent getting the flu is get vaccinated. I mean, if you don't get a vaccine, you have no protection for sure, but if you get a vaccination, at least you've done something to try to prevent getting it. Now, no vaccine is 100%, and a lot of times, like elderly, for instance, if they get a flu vaccine, their immune systems can't always fully respond to the vaccine, and they don't have 100% protection. A lot of times they'll only be protected 40 to 60%, but that's why it's so important for those people who are living in households with them or working around them. They get their flu shot so they don't pass that influenza on to either elderly or people who have compromised immune systems.
As we're into April here, is it too late to get the flu vaccine, or is there a cutoff date that we should be aware of?
You know, there's not a cutoff date. The CDC recommendations are to get it, pretty much all around, but our season typically is starting to wind down about this time of year, although there have been years where H1N1 kind of shows up in the early spring. So if you go out and get vaccinated now, it'll take your body probably up to 2 weeks to have antibodies or protection against the influenza. So I would never say it's too late to get vaccinated, but normally we do our influenza vaccinations anywhere from September on.
We're speaking with Tamalee St. James, Deputy Health Officer with Riverstone Health. Have you received any phone calls, and what's the subject of those phone calls the last couple of days since the news came out about the Poly Drive Elementary School student?
We haven't had a lot of calls, and the message is, those 4 things I told you before. Cover your cough, wash your hands, stay home if you're sick, and get the vaccination if you hadn't already gotten it.
The vaccines, the flu vaccines that we get at the Walgreens of the world, CVS, Albertsons, and by our medical providers, are they all the same vaccine?
What they do is they'll watch the circulating flu strains throughout the globe that have their flu seasons prior to ours, and the vaccine is made every year specifically targeting the types of influenza viruses they're seeing circulating. So the vaccine now primarily has 2 A's and 2 B's in it. H1N1 has been in it for the last several years. So they try to kind of outguess what's going to be in the flu season this year.
Right.
And so, hopefully they get a match. They don't always get an exact match, but for the last several years, H1N1 has been in there.
And what is the age range to get the talked about flu vaccine?
6 months and older.
Has that changed over time?
Well, it goes anywhere from 6 months to 100 is the recommendation, or even over 100 if you're over 100. But there are different types of flu in flu vaccines, and they have different age ranges. There's the flu mist, which is a live virus vaccine, and it's only licensed up to age 50. And then there's the injectable, which is from age 6 months all the way up to the end of life.
I see. With regards to Riverstone Health, is there some contact information, websites for tips of talk of the flu that people could log on to, or is there do you have an answering service that people can ask questions?
Sure. You can go to riverstonehealth.org. That's our website. Or you can call my phone, which is 406-598-5294.
All right. Tamalee St. James. Anything else we're missing here?
I don't think so. I think you're good to go.
All right. Appreciate your time. Deputy Health Officer with Riverstone Health, Tamalee St. James. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Keystone Mortgage has moved to a much larger location. Keystone Mortgage is our underwriter for our replay of the show, our podcast. Keystone Mortgage, purchase, refinance, investment properties, second home, anything dealing with mortgages. You aren't just a number, you're our number one priority.
and that slogan fits. Keystone Mortgage Company, Keystone Mortgage, KeystoneHomeLoans.com. They are locally owned and operated, and you can search them out on Facebook. Just type in the keyword, the Keystone. All kinds of blinds locally here in Billings. All kinds of blinds, mt.com for mini blinds or the Roman shades. If you want to see a variety of vertical blinds that will fit in your home or your business, then Bobby Gray and All Kinds of Blinds is the answer. All kinds of blinds, mt.com. Check out the Starbucks in the Heights, Starbucks on Grand, for the work that Bobby Gray has done with All Kinds of Blinds at their locations. A couple of Taco Treat locations on Grand and Heights as well. Fred's Appliance is one of the most recent jobs done by Bobby Gray. And All Kinds of Blinds in Billings. All Kinds of Blinds, mt.com. You can order the works, the shave, and the cut. Jim and Austin's Barbershop, 2225 Main in the Heights. Trained barbers, $10 haircuts. And that price hasn't changed for years, and it doesn't look likely that it will. Jim and Austin's Barbershop, $10, 10-minute haircut, in and out. You can do it over your lunch hour. Jim and Austin's Barbershop, 2225 Main in Billings Heights. Sponsors of the Billings Wolves for 2016.
All kinds of blinds in Billings, all kinds of blinds, mt.com, and 39. Good looking day today, heading into a Billings, Montana weekend. About 70 today, detailed forecast. That is on the way. Redline Computer Studios, West Billings, Montana. Live and Large Larry Live, the show at liveandlargelarry.com.
Call or email your Live and Large Larry Live show ideas. Larry at liveandlargelarry.com and 1-888-858-1408.
The Billings Morning News at liveandlargelarry.com. It is brought to you by the Billings Extreme new outdoor football team in Billings. Dallas Wendy's Field is where they play their home games. They're on a bye week this weekend. Billings Extreme, XTREME. And find them on Facebook and billingsextreme.com. Authorities in Carbon County are investigating the deaths of 3 people at a residence in Belfry. The Carbon County Sheriff's Office said the case is a triple homicide. And at this moment, a male suspect has been identified, although he's not in custody, and believed to have left the area. Officials said they do not believe there is any threat to the Belfry community at this time. The victims are all 3 adults. Deputies responded to the residence for a welfare check at about 6:30 Thursday morning, and they located 3 bodies. The suspect was not among the dead. The Montana Division of Criminal Investigations is assisting the Carbon County Sheriff's Office, and we'll have more on that as the story develops. A 32-year-old Laurel man was charged Thursday with raping a 15-year-old girl. Dustin Kennedy was charged Thursday in Yellowstone County Justice Court with felony sexual intercourse without consent. He is in jail on $100,000 bond. According to court records, sheriff's deputies were sent last September to investigate a sex offense near Laurel. The girl's mother told the deputies that her daughter had confirmed that she had been sexually assaulted after the mother found references to the incident in her diary and confronted her. The girl told authorities the incident happened a few days earlier, and Kennedy was charged with evidence, including DNA testing, later connected him to that crime. Federal, state, and tribal agencies that manage Yellowstone National Park bison have agreed to let the animals stay in parts of Montana all year round. Montana Governor Steve Bullock issued a decision in December to allow bison that roam outside the park in search of food to remain on an estimated 400 square miles north and west of the park. And on Wednesday, the Interagency Bison Management Plan, the members verbally agreed to Bullock's decision. Supporters say it will be the first time in a century that bison will be allowed year-round in the states. There are concerns from ranchers and landowners that the animals will spread disease and damage property. If you ride Met Transit or would if the routes were expanded, you may want to attend one of the series of meetings coming up later on this month of April. 4 meetings will be held in April to get feedback on proposed route and schedule changes and changes to the price to ride as well. First meeting is planned for Tuesday, April 12th. It'll be at Faith Evangelical Church at 6:30 p.m. April 19th, there are 2 meetings at Billings Public Library. One's at 2, The other starts at 6:30, both at Billings Public Library. The final meeting is scheduled for April 20th at Oasis Water Park at 6:30 p.m. for Met Transit. School District 2 Board of Trustees unanimously approved an elementary and high school general fund levy election for this year, for 2016. Levy for both elementary and high schools will cost a homeowner of a $200,000 home about $2 a month or $24 a year. Board members and concerned community members agreed to place levies on the May ballot during a January school board meeting. They say the levies are necessary to reduce class size by adding staff, expand the STEM program through the district's Project Lead the Way, and expand programs for struggling students, including assistance for mental health services. The K-8 levy would be nearly $1.3 million, and high schools will receive about $855,000 in funding. Mail-in ballots will be sent out to voters on April 15th. As we gather some of our news from KTVQ.com, Color8.com, the Billings Gazette, and also at times, Last Best News. And that is a look at Billings Morning News at livinlargelarry.com. From the Billings Extreme outdoor football back for spring and summer, the Billings Extreme, XTREME, billingsextreme.com, and on Facebook.
There's a new real estate agent in your neighborhood, Amber Gustanis with Century 21 Hometown Brokers. Call Amber for a free market analysis, 406-690-5902. Amber Gustanis with Century 21 Hometown Brokers.
Hey, you want a piece of the action? Billings Kiwanis is throwing a little soiree called the Bootleggers Ball, April 23rd at the Bighorn Resort. Come dressed in swanky 1920s attire, enjoy a little Italian cuisine, and cut a rug on the dance floor to the 2nd Street Stompers. Lay down some bones in the casino for your chance at a trip to South Africa. Proceeds benefit Landon's Legacy, Billings' first special needs baseball park. Space is limited, so go to billingskiwanis.org to reserve your tickets now.
Call or email your Livin Large Larry Live show ideas. Larry at livinlargelarry.com and 1-888-858-1408.
Not a lot of wind, not a lot of moisture in our Billings area forecast. Forecast on the show from Tops Sandwich Company in Billings across from Shopco. Enjoy their happy hour weekdays 5 to 8 p.m. All sandwiches, $5. Roast beef, turkey, ham. Ask about their pork sandwich menu. Coming to Tops Sandwich Company across from Shopco, and chips with every order. Well, it should be nice and sunny, about 74 for this afternoon, and not a bad weekend. Close to 80 in and around Billings for Saturday, and it cools off to about 60 or so for Sunday. Even glancing ahead to most of next week, 65 to 70 for highs in and around Billings, Montana. Get a 5-day look at the forecast, expanded look at livinlargelarry.com. Click on the weather button there at the home page. Meantime, on the show, the forecast from Tops Sandwich Company in Billings. Off of King Avenue West, across from Shopco, Top Sandwich Company, no franchising. They have a happy hour every Monday through Friday, 5 to 8 p.m., where sandwiches are only $5, and that includes chips, delivery, even one sandwich with Tops Sandwich Company, across from Shopco in Billings.
Livin Large Larry Live.
Our replay sponsor on Livin Large Larry Live is brought to you by Keystone Mortgage in their new location, 248-7124. And you can check them out and visit them at 2442 First Avenue North. They're right across from the pub station in downtown Billings. Keystone Mortgage Company. You aren't just a number, you're our number one priority. Keystone Mortgage. Had a visit with Marcy Smith about Landon's legacy, and the dream of Landon is moving forward with the help of the Billings Kiwanis. And they're a big event at the Bighorn Resort coming up April 23rd. Listen for announcements here on the show from the Redline Computer Studios, livinlargelarry.com.
And Marcy Smith with us. And you've been very, very busy, and we're going to talk about Landon's legacy. And I still wear the wristband you gave me.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
So what are some of the developments in Landon's legacy?
The developments are we finally have a spot that we're putting the park. Super excited, but we're not releasing that unless you come to the Bootlegger Ball on April 23rd. That's when it will be unveiled.
Okay, talk about Landon first, and a little bit about Landon's legacy, his dream, and how this whole baseball field started.
Landon's legacy started after Landon passed away, and I knew I wanted to continue his legacy and his name in this community. So I started Landon's Legacy Foundation and just started working on it, not really knowing where I was going with it or what it was going to be about, besides that it was going to help children. And after I got into it for a while, I realized, Landon's love and passion was baseball, and that he could never do that because there wasn't a field here that was available for kids with special needs, handicap, needing wheelchair accessibility or walker maneuverability and stuff. So I decided I would build a baseball field, a Miracle League baseball field for the community.
And it takes just a ton of work and a lot of people to talk to, and you must be making some inroads, Marcy.
I am. It's finally getting there. I partnered with Billings Kiwanis. They reached out to me and asked if we could be partners, and so they're helping me, and it's been moving along really quickly.
I noticed that in the media, you've been kind of on this media tour the last several hours, we should say.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but it's been good. I love talking about Landon and the parks. It's going to help so many in our community. And, it's not just for children. I had one person say, why do we need another baseball field? It's not just another baseball field. It's a field with a special surface, a latex-free surface, so everyone can get around on it. And, our kids can't all run in the grass or on the dirt. And so this field will allow them to be part of a team, which most of them want to be and can't be. And not only for children, but for wounded warriors, for senior citizens that want to stay active. And it won't be used just in baseball season either. Our kids can't go trick-or-treating. People don't realize that, but when you have children that can't walk up steps to go trick-or-treating, they have to sit by and watch. And so this field will allow them to do trick-or-treating on the baseball field. You know how they kind of do the trunk-or-treat?
Sure, yeah.
So it will be used for other events. It'll bring in money for the community based on, the tournaments, and like to use it for Special Olympics and, all of the events that we'll be gravitating towards.
You mentioned some kind of a ball coming up?
We are doing the Bootlegger Ball. It's a 1920s theme. Casino, ball, Italian dinner. Going to be lots of fun with some great prizes. So you can come out in your best blacker dresses and gangster attire, anything from the Prohibition, or just come as you are. And we have a casino night, and the big winner of the casino night will win a trip for two to Africa, South Africa. And then we have a live auction and a silent auction, and in the live auction, there's several trips, one to Italy, one to Nashville to the Country Music Awards, one to the rodeo in Las Vegas. We have a Peyton Manning signed jersey, lots of stuff, lots of good fun things.
What is the date, the time, and the location?
April 23rd, and doors open at 6 o'clock.
And
we have tables available, and you can still purchase tickets or tables on billingskiwanis.org or get in touch with any of us Landon's Legacy Foundation.
And where is the ball going to be held, Marcy?
Bighorn Resort.
Bighorn Resort. All right. This sounds like a lot of fun. And give us that website address one more time.
billingskiwanis.org.
Thanks for your time, Marcy Smith. Landon's Legacies. Living on.
Thank you so much.
Livin' Large Larry Live.